In a stunning revelation, a NATO ally is quietly fueling the very engine of Russia's war machine, pumping more money into Russian oil and gas than it has contributed to Ukraine's defense. As Kyiv continues its desperate fight for survival and once again pleads for NATO membership, a critical question emerges. Who is truly standing by Ukraine's side?
An invitation for Ukraine to join NATO could become truly fundamental for peace. We understand that NATO membership is a matter of the future, not the present. But Putin must see that his geopolitical calculations have failed. The Russians must feel that their czar has lost geopolitically. I thank all our partners who support the idea that inviting Ukraine to NATO now, with membership later, strengthens everyone.
Shockingly, one of Ukraine's most vocal supporters, the Czech Republic, has spent a staggering €7 billion, $7.62 billion, on Russian fossil fuels since the war began, more than 5 times what it has provided in aid to Ukraine. This revelation comes at a time when Western solidarity is crucial to Ukraine's survival. The explosive report, titled "Tapping the Loophole," released by the Center for the Study of Democracy and the Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air, exposes the Czech Republic's deepening reliance on Russian energy. Under the guise of loopholes meant to help landlocked nations transition, Czechia has ramped up its imports of Russian oil. These loopholes, which also benefit Hungary and Slovakia, were intended to provide a gradual phase-out from Russian energy. Yet rather than reducing its dependence, Czechia increased its imports, boosting Russian crude oil to 60% of its total intake in 2023, up from 56% the previous year. Though the first quarter of 2024 saw a slight dip, dropping below 50%, the country remains one of Russia's major clients, funneling billions into Moscow's coffers at a time when Europe is tightening sanctions in an attempt to choke off Russia's war effort. According to the report, Czechia's payments for Russian energy since February 2022 have generated over €2.3 billion in tax revenue for Moscow, funds that are directly aiding Russia's military aggression against Ukraine. Despite pledging military aid to Kyiv, Czechia's actions in the energy sector paint a conflicting picture, one that analysts warn is undermining the effectiveness of European sanctions and strengthening Russia's war chest at a critical time. Experts argue that this reliance on Russian oil is not only unnecessary but avoidable. The Transalpine pipeline from Italy remains underutilized, and Czechia could easily shift to alternative supplies. Norwegian gas via Germany and liquefied natural gas, LNG, from the Netherlands could replace Russian energy sources entirely. The think tanks behind the report are urging the European Union to close these sanction loopholes, forcing countries like Czechia, Hungary, and Slovakia to fully sever ties with Russian fossil fuels. The report couldn't come at a more crucial moment. Just days ago, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán called out the EU's hypocrisy, criticizing Europe for maintaining trade ties with Russia while supporting Ukraine's war effort and preaching unity against the Kremlin.
Since the outbreak of the war, you, the Western countries, have bought Russian oil from Turkish or Indian refineries for $8.5 billion. And you are criticizing us. You paid $8.5 billion. This is hypocrisy. In 2023, you Westerners bought 44% more Russian oil than a year earlier. The tax revenue of your companies that they paid into the Russian budget was $1.7 billion. And you perpetuate us with Russian friendship? Well, you're funding them.
The report stresses that by eliminating these loopholes, Europe could cut off a significant financial lifeline to Moscow and accelerate the transition to renewable energy, boosting regional energy security and advancing Europe's broader sustainability goals. But time is running out, and the longer these loopholes remain, the more fuel is pumped into Russia's war machine.